1.6 is the following. Okay, so let's start reviewing lesson 1.6. Lesson 1.6, okay, of your textbook is called solving or working with inequalities. Okay, so let's start with inequalities that have one variable on one side. Okay, de empezar por ahí. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start with solving inequalities. Okay, let's start with solving inequalities and graph the inequality. After we solve it, we can graph the inequality like we did in class. Okay, solve the inequalities. Okay, we can have two types of inequalities. Okay, with one variable on one side or with variables on both sides. So I'm going to start with the simple to the hardest. Okay, o ¿verdad? Lo más fácil a lo más complicado. Como quiera, no es difícil. Okay, solve the inequality. So I'm going to start with the examples that I'm going to do in today's review are from your daily work, okay, that you're supposed to work. ¿Verdad? Que ya lo trabajo. Okay? Let's start with this example. Imagine we got x plus 4, x plus 4 greater than 10. Okay. Vamos a imaginar que tenemos, ¿verdad? Tenemos ese ejemplo. ¿Qué es lo primero que vamos a hacer, verdad? Queremos dejar la x sola, ¿verdad? Queremos despejar o queremos, ¿verdad? We want to find x. So it's going to be, we're going to move 4 to the other side, or is the same as subtracting 4. So it's going to be x greater than 10 minus 4. So the final answer here will be x greater than 6. So the question is, how do I graph that so I can see the same inequality in a graph or a number line? How do I do it? ¿Alguien se acuerda? Está bien, no te preocupes, está bien. Okay, how do I graph the inequality? Can someone tell me? ¿Alguien me dice? Exacto. So, okay, so it's going to be located on 6, okay? But the question is, does 6 is included? Adriana. It's not included, so it's going to be an open dot. I hope you remember this. No se olvide todo lo que vimos. Okay, so it's going to be 6 is not included, so it's going to be 4 to the right. So all numbers greater than 6. This is how you grab this on a number line. Okay, so básicamente eso es lo que va a hacer en esta parte, ¿verdad? That's how we graph inequalities. Okay, so let's do one more. Vamos a ver otro ejemplo. Vamos a hacer varios para aclarar dudas. Okay? I also can work with this inequality. For example, I have the following. I got 4x minus 8 is greater or equal than negative 4. So it's going to be basically the same way. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave the 4x to the left. So I'm going to move the negative 8 to the right. So it's the same as adding 8. So it's going to be like this. It's going to be 4x greater or equal to, so it's going to be negative 4 plus 8. So the answer is going to be 4x is greater or equal than, ¿y cuál sería la respuesta de negative 4 plus 8? That's 4, okay? So I'm going to solve for x. That's going to be x is greater or equal than 1. Okay? I don't move the inequality or I don't reverse the inequality because I am not divided by negative. Okay, so if 4 will be negative, I will change the inequality or reverse the inequality. Since it's positive, it stays the same. So when I graph this, it's going to be like this. If I want to graph the inequality x greater than or equal to 1, it's going to be like this. I am positioned in 1, estoy posicionado en el 1. Okay. In this case, 1 is included or not included. Who can tell me? 1 is included because the inequality said so. It's greater or equal. When you have the symbol equal, that means in this case that 1 is included. Okay, so it's gonna be a closed dot, meaning that 1 is also included in this inequality, and it also will be to the right because it will go to the greater than 1 or to the positives greater than 1. Okay. Questions about this? This is basically how we work with inequalities with one variable. Okay, estamos. So I'm gonna do one more. Can I erase this? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna solve with variables on both sides of the inequality. Okay. Mala mía que borré el tema, pero sigue siendo el mismo. Okay. We are reviewing lesson 1.6, so I'm still talking about the same lesson. Okay. Let's see example C or problem C, so we can see another one of this type of problem. Okay. So we're still talking about solving inequalities, of solve the inequality. Let me do letter C, solve the inequality. Okay, okay, we're gonna work C now. Let me have it from your textbook. Okay. Okay, let's work this one. X minus 3, x minus 3 is less than or equal to -5. So I'm gonna do the same as the other problems. So I wanna leave the x alone. So I'm gonna add by 3 on both sides. So I leave the x alone. So it's going to be x less than or equal to -5 plus 3. So here the answer will be x minus, or sorry, less than or equal to -2. Okay. So now I'm gonna put that on the form, on the graph, sorry. So it's going to be to the left of the inequality or to the number line. But the question is, does -2 is included on the values of these inequalities? Yes. Okay. So it's gonna go to the left. Okay, and -2 is gonna be included on the values of this inequality. So it's gonna be like this. Let me change the color. It's going to be -2 is included, so it's a closed dot, and it's gonna go to the left of the number line. Okay, so it's gonna be something like that. Okay, estamos, pregunta de how to work inequalities with one variable, ¿verdad? Only. Estamos. Okay, so now I'm gonna do problems of inequalities with variables on both sides. It's very similar, but there's gonna be some difference. Okay, so dame escribir. Este sería el ejemplo de, pero en este caso estamos trabajando con variables en ambos lados. Okay, este también será de su libro. Imagine we got 2x minus 6 is greater than 3 minus x. So I told you that it's better to leave the x to the left of the inequality and the whole numbers or whatever to the right position of the inequality. So I'm gonna move the x over here, okay, and I'm gonna move the -6 to the other side of the inequality. So it's going to look like this. It's going to be 2x plus x, okay, and that is greater than 3 plus 6, okay? So I'm going to solve this. 2x plus x is 3x, okay? greater than 9. So what do I have to do? What I have left to do on this problem? Except I have to solve for x, so I'm going to divide by 3 in both sides. So the answer is going to be x greater than 3. Okay? So I'm going to graph the solution now. So it's going to be the same as the other one. Okay? It's going to be on the 3, positive 3, but it's not going to be included because it said that the numbers are greater than 3. So that means that 3 is not included. So the answer will be the numbers that are greater than positive 3. Okay? Preguntas de ese ejercicio. ¿Vieron? Es lo mismo básicamente. The only difference is that I have variables on both sides of the inequality. Okay, okay, so I'm going to do letter E now. Okay. Pregunta hasta aquí estamos. Ok. Si yo diera puntos por participación, pues todos tendrían 0. Ok. Perfecto. Vamos para el ejercicio E. Y hay puntos de participación por si acaso. Adriana es la única que está hablando. Okay. Vamos a el E. Let's go to problem E. It's also with variables on both sides of the inequality. Okay. Dice el ejemplo E. I got, vamos a ver. I got 5 minus 8x, okay, less than or equal to 19 minus 10x. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I want the variables to the right, to the left side, sorry, and the whole numbers to the right side. So it's going to be like this. Well, I'm going to move the negative 10x to the other side of the inequality and the positive 5 to the other side of the inequality. Okay, so it's going to look like this. It's going to be negative 8x plus 10x, okay, 10x positive, less than or equal to positive 19 minus 5x. So I'm going to subtract in the other side. It's going to be 2x is less than or equal to 14. Okay. So what I have to do left is divide by 2 or solve for x. So I have the value of x is going to be, ¿verdad? ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Verdad? ¿Cuál sería el valor de x? It will be x less than or equal to 7. So if I graph that on the number, that is going to be the same. Okay, it's going to be 7 positive. Usted tiene que hacer la recta numérica, ¿verdad? Lo mejor posible. La mía está toda virada. Okay, so 7 is included on this problem, but we're going to the left side because 7 is included, but the numbers are less than or equal to 7. So it's going to be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? So it will be to the left. Okay? Something like this. Okay? Pregunta hasta aquí. So now I'm going to do one more. Okay, I'm going to do one more. Voy a tratar de hacer uno que se revierta la desigualdad. Okay? Let me try to find one that we reverse the inequality because we're divided by negative numbers at the end of the problem. Dame buscar un rapidito. Okay, let's go to F, problem F. F. Okay, let's see F. Dame buscarlo rapidito, dame un breakcito. Ok, vamos a hacer que ocurre lo que quiero, ¿verdad? Explicarle o repasar. Okay? I got 5x plus 2 greater than 7x minus 4. Okay, let's try this one very quick. Okay. So the same, I want to move the x with the x. Okay, la X con la X, o las variables con las variables. So it will be, I move this to the other side and I move positive 2, so it's going to be negative 2. And it's going to be negative 7x. So it's going to be something like this, 5x minus 7x greater than negative 4 minus 2. Okay? So in this side, we're going to subtract. It's going to be 5x minus 7x is negative 2x. And that is greater than negative 6 because we add both numbers and both of them are negative. So now you're going to see how do we reverse inequalities, or how or when do we reverse the inequality. So when you divide by negative numbers, you're going to reverse the inequality. So it's going to be something like this. It's going to be x less. You see, we reverse the inequality because we're dividing by negative numbers. So it's going to be x minus 3. So when we graph this inequality on the number line, it's going to be x less than 3. So it's going to be like this. I got 0, 1, 2, 3. So again, it's not included, okay? No está incluido, porque dice x minus 3, or s less than 3, sorry. So it's going to be to the left side of the number line, okay? All the numbers less than 3, well, they are positive 2, 1, 0, negative 1, and you got it, okay? Duda, pregunta, ¿verdad? Ese sería el caso que usted revierte, ¿verdad? In this case, you reverse the inequality. Only in these cases that we are dividing by negative number. If that doesn't happen, you never reverse the inequality. ¿Duda, pregunta? Okay. So, estamos. So I'm going to erase this and go to the other part that you have to focus, okay, on this lesson. Okay. Let me see what else. We also can have the other part of this lesson that we have to focus. I'm going to do one problem or two of those, okay? Is how to solve a compound, ¿verdad? And compound inequality, okay? We saw this in class also, how to solve a compound inequality, okay? So let's see one example very quick of how to solve a compound inequality. In this case, students, we got an inequality that has two symbols of inequality. For example, let's see this example A, or practice A. I got negative 4 less than 6x minus 10. Let me write this again. 6x minus 10. 6x minus 10. And the other symbol that I have is less than or greater or equal to 14. So, what do you suggest we do? ¿Quién me dice que hacíamos, si se acuerda de esto? Que lo discutimos en clase. Exacto, en otras palabras, ¿verdad? I'm going to leave the 6x alone, so I will move the negative 10 or add 10 to both sides of the inequality or to the compound inequality. So, voy a hacerlo por paso. It's going to be like this. Negative 4 plus 10 less than 6x. And in the other side, I got less than or equal to 14 plus 10. Okay? So you're going to add 10 to both sides. So it's going to be, in this side, it's going to be 6. 6 less than 6x less than or equal to 24. So you can see that we can divide by 6, okay? Or we can solve for x. So it's going to be, well, we're going to divide by 6 here, by 6 here also, and by 6 on the last part of the compound inequality. So it's going to be 1 less than x less than or equal to, ¿Cuánto daría 24 divided by 4? Exactly. Okay. So that's what we're gonna have. Okay. In this part, I'm not gonna ask you to graph the solution. Okay. But just so you remind, it's gonna be like this. It's very similar to what we did on the past problems. So I got that it's 1 less than x less than or equal to 4. So it's going to be something like this, okay? The first number, sorry, is going to be, or the first position is going to be on 1. So 1 is not included. So it's going to be like this. 1 is not included. And the other part of the compound inequality is going to be less than or equal to 4. So it's going to be like this. This part is going to be included because it said that it's less than or equal to 4. So this is basically how we graph a compound inequality. Okay? Preguntas, dudas de esto. Okay, I'm going to do one more of those compound inequalities. Vamos para el B. Dame a buscar otro. Dame a buscarlo rápido. Okay, I got the following. This is 2 less than 3x. 2 less than 3x minus 1 less than or equal to 6. Okay, let's do this one. It's very similar to the past problem we did. Okay, so I'm gonna add by 1 on both sides. So I leave the 3x alone. So it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be 2 plus 1 less than 3x less than or equal to 6 plus 1. So it's gonna be something like this. Dame si yo copié bien este ejercicio. Espera un momento. Sí, lo copié bien también. So it's gonna be something like this, okay? It will be 3 less than 3x less than or equal to 7. Okay. So aquí, ¿verdad? Para resolver por x sería de la forma siguiente, básicamente igual. Sería 3. I'm going to divide by 3 here. So this will be a fraction. So it will have, or it will be 1 less than x less than or equal to 7 over 3. Okay, and we just leave it like that expressed. Okay. Pregunta hasta aquí estamos, mi gente. So básicamente, that will be what you have to focus on lesson 1.6. ¿Alguna duda, pregunta de esta lección? Estamos claros, ¿ok? Perfecto. Pues nada, antes de, ¿verdad? Por hoy, lo último que voy a hacer es comenzar a repasar de la lección 2.1, qué es lo que usted tiene que enfocarse y con eso nos vamos ya mismo, ¿ok? Voy a borrar, pero voy a pasar a la lección 2.1, qué usted tiene que enfocarse para estudiar, ¿ok? Now I'm going to review lesson 2.1. Esta lección era la de representing functions, represent relations and functions, ¿ok? Representing relations and functions. ¿Okay? Voy a empezar a repasar este y el miércoles, perdón, continuamos con esta lección. ¿Okay? Ok, lo primero que usted debe saber es cómo usted determina, ¿verdad? Si una función o si una relación es función o no. Vamos a hacer un ejemplo de eso rápido para que lo vea. ¿Okay? Vamos para la parte primera que usted tiene que enfocarse. Voy a ponerle el título para que lo vea. identify the domain and range. ¿Se acuerda que el domain son las X y el rango son las Y? ¿Ok? Identify the domain and range of the given relation. Okay. Represent. You also have to represent it by a mapping diagram. Represent it by a mapping diagram. ¿Se acuerda de eso también? Lo vimos en clase. By a mapping diagram. And tell if it's a function. And tell if it's a function. Okay. Eso es lo que vamos a hacer en esta parte. Okay. Vamos a ver un ejemplo rápido de esto para que me siga. Okay. Imagine I got these relations. Dame escribirlo rápido. I got these coordinates. Tengo las siguientes coordenadas. La primera sería 5 and 20. 5 and 20. O 5, 20. 10, 20. 15, 30. 15, 30. And 20 and 30. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this on the mapping diagram. Okay, I'm going to start with that step. So you can remember a mapping diagram is this. We're going to put in this side the X values, and in the other side, we're going to put the Y values that we also can call domain and range. We also can call it input and output. You remember that? Se supone que recuerden eso. Okay. So here I got the X values. They also can be called the input. They also can be called the domain. Okay. And in the other mapping diagram, I got the Y values that they also can be called the output. Okay. ¿Se acuerda de esto? Okay. And it also can be called the range, or ¿verdad? The Y values are the range or the output of the function. Okay. So in the first mapping diagram, or the first circle that we have, oval, es un óvalo, ¿verdad? I will have 5, 10, 15, and 20. Okay? And let's see how that is related to the other, or to the other coordinates. Okay. In the other one, I have 20, 30, and nothing more. Okay. So let's see what happens here. Let's see the relations. What is the first relation that we have on the coordinates? ¿Quién me dice rápido? 520. Okay. So I got 520. Okay. What is the next relation that we have? Alguien que no haya visto, háblenme, mi gente. What is the other coordinates that I have on the problem? 10, 20, exacto. Muy bien. Okay. La tercera relación que usted ve. What is the third relation? 15 con 30. Muy bien. And the last relation that we can see here is 20 and 30. Okay. So the question is, does this is a function? Yes or no? Es una función excelente. Y la razón es porque, ¿verdad? Ajá, dime. Dime, vale. Exacto. Each input is related with exactly one output. ¿Ok? Sí, ¿verdad? Vamos a ver ahorita cuando ocurre, ¿verdad? Lo opuesto a esto. ¿Ok? Así que siempre que tengamos que las X tienen, ¿verdad? Un output específico y no tienen dos outputs, por ejemplo, esto no sería función si el 5, por ejemplo, estuviera con el 20 y con el 30. No sé si me entienden. ¿Ok? Si eso hubiera ocurrido, pues no sería función. ¿Ok? Estamos. Así que, en otras palabras, pues básicamente ya lo tenemos. Estamos. So we can say, ¿verdad? En palabras bien lindas, this is a function. Y usted no sé si se acuerda de esto, pero esto lo hicimos en clase. This is a function. This is a function. Y la razón es la siguiente, por lo que acabamos de decir. ¿Verdad? Usted puede escribir, no sé si se acuerda lo que escribimos cuando discutimos esta lección. Voy a escribirlo en palabras sencillas. This is a function because each output, me escribí un disparate ahí, because, hombre, mami, because each output, because each input, perdón, each input is related with exactly one output. Okay. Preguntas, dudas, mi gente. Okay. Okay. One with exactly one output. O una Y, es lo mismo. Y usted me puede decir, pues Nieve, ¿cómo? Ya le contesté cuál es el dominio y cuál es el rango. Pues en palabras sencillas, sí. ¿Cuál es el dominio, mi gente? ¿Cuál sería el dominio según lo que hemos explicado? Exacto. Y el output, pues sería, ¿verdad? El rango, perdón, sería pues la Y, ¿ok? Así que contestamos las preguntas, ¿ok? Vamos a ver otro más de esto para concluir por hoy, ¿ok? Deme un brequecito para, ok. Voy a buscar uno que no sea función, deme un break rápido, porque quiero que lo vea antes de irnos por hoy. Ok, mi gente, vamos a ver este y con esto nos vamos casi. Okay. Let's see example B now. No hay pregunta. Is there any question about example A of how to identify domain range, mapping diagram, and tell if it's a function? Estamos. Okay, let's see one more of how to identify a function. Dame escribir las coordenadas y con esto básicamente termino. Okay, I got this coordinates. I got -2 and -4. I also got -1. Is with -1. I also have, estoy cambiando el ejemplo un poquito. Va a ver rápido lo que estoy diciéndole. Okay. And the last coordinate I have is 4 and 3. Okay. So let's put this on a mapping diagram. Recuerde, yo le había dicho que usted debe ir de mayor a menor o de menor a mayor. ¿Qué yo le había dicho? ¿Alguien se acuerda? De menor a mayor, ¿ok? Vamos a hacerlo rapidito. Recuerde, no lo dije, pero estas son las X y estas son las, ¿verdad? Usted debe saber eso, ¿ok? So let's put this on the mapping diagram very quick to see if this relation is a function, yes or no, okay? So the X that we have are -2, okay? We got -1 and we got 4, okay? And the Y values that we have are -4. We also got -1, +1, and +3. Okay, so let's see the relation very quick. The relation that we have, we got -2 is pair or related to -4. Okay, what is the next relation that we can see very quick? Okay, what is the third relation that we have now? Can someone see a problem there? Con dos, ¿verdad? Con dos outputs, o tiene dos outputs diferentes. So, rápido, gente, que usted visualiza eso, usted va a saber, o usted va a decir, well, this is not a function, y va a escribir por qué, ¿ok? So, esa es la razón por la que no funciona, ¿ok? Usted debe decir que estas son las X, ¿verdad? Lo mismo de siempre, estas son las X, estas son las Y, este es el input, ¿verdad? Eso usted debe de ponerlo en el examen, ¿verdad? Identificando cada parte. Este es el output, ¿ok? ¿verdad? Este sería el domain, and the other part is the range. Okay? And let's answer if it's a function or not. So the answer is, it's not a function. ¿Y por qué? Vamos a escribirlo. This is not a function. Or it's not a function, ¿verdad? No importa. Usted puede usar las palabras que usted, ¿verdad? Crea que son necesarias. This is not a function. Y hay que decir por qué. This is not a function because. Y la verdad, usted va a decir ahora por qué. Va a ser bien específico. Because. Deme un brequecito porque no es fácil escribir en Zoom. I'm so sorry. Because. ¿Qué ocurre? ¿Quién me dice cómo sería? The relation is not a function. Usted puede decir también. Because the input -1. Usted puede decir de esta forma. Because the input -1 is related con dos outputs. Ahí está el gran problema. Because the input -1 is mapped o está relacionado. Usted puede decir cualquier palabra. Después que tenga sentido. Is mapped onto both -1 and +1. ¿Entendimos? ¿Dudas, preguntas de esto que hemos explicado hoy? ¿Okay? Estamos, pues esa sería, ¿verdad? La razón. ¿Okay? Pues dame verificar la lista otra vez para ir concluyendo por hoy. ¿Okay? Dame tumbar la grabación de... Recuerda, esto va a estar en YouTube.